If you're looking for a simple but effective SMC entry model, then this is the video for you, because in this video, I'm sharing my exact entry model. I'm walking you through step-by-step how I enter the market, where I set my stop loss, and also take profits. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Justin Bennett, Forex trader since 2007, full-time trader since 2011. And as always, all of this is for educational purposes only and not financial advice. So Euro USD 1 hour time frame. Now, every entry model, a good entry model, is going to start with market structure. That's where everything starts. So for that, let's walk through this chart here on the hourly. And you can see where we are starting to get a little bit of an uptrend here on the hourly. However, in context, if you look back here, clearly the market has been trending lower for some time. So one thing to be aware of here is that even though this could be the start of a larger uptrend, we also have a downtrend in place. So this could just be more relief here before we get a lower high again. Okay, but let's go ahead and walk this through and see what we get. Now, at this moment in the chart, what we can see here, and this is important whenever you're trying to identify a swing high or low, is identifying recent breakup structure. So you can see that this high over here is an external high. First of all, it does extend well beyond all of these internal highs back here. And furthermore, we have this low right here, which is an external low. And even though this isn't confirmed yet because we don't have a breakup structure, I know that it's likely going to be an external low, because you can see that off of these lows down here, we did sweep these lows and then we extended higher. Okay, so this right here is one qualification I need for an external low in a case like this. And you can see same thing back here, internal low. And what we did is we took out this low here. This is an external low. Now this was confirmed because we had a breakup structure. So let's see if we do get a breakup structure here to really confirm this as our external low. And then we'll mark that out once we get it. Okay, so moving forward here, you can see we tested this high up here. That is not a confirmed breakup structure. So let's move this forward and see what we get. Now right there, we did have a confirmed breakup structure here on the hourly. So we can mark this as our BOS. Okay, so that is a confirmed BOS here on the hourly close above. Again, wicks do not count. So now from here, we have a confirmed external low because we have that breakup structure. We know now that this is in fact our external low. So this is important because if this is going to be a lower high, remember that we have the euro in a downtrend here. If this is going to be a lower high, this is the level down here that sellers would have to take out. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this forward now and see what we get. Now, at this point here, once we get a decent little pullback, I would go ahead and mark out this high up here. And this could change, just to be clear. This could change. This is not saying it's set in stone here, but this is potentially an external high. We'll have to wait and see if it is in fact one. Okay, so playing this forward now, we know we have an external low down here. We have a tentative external high. And let's play it forward, see what we get here. This is all internal, which, by the way, if you saw my recent video on OTE, you can see here that if you measure from this low right down here, so external low down here up to this recent high, you can see where the market actually came right there into the OTE, optimal trade entry. So I'll link at the top of this video to that OTE video if you missed that. That one is really, really important for catching these moves. And I'll also be using that in this video today when we talk about an entry model. All right, so moving this forward again, this is all internal structure here because we have not closed above this high. And we certainly have not closed below this low here. This is all just internal price action, okay? So moving this forward here, let's see what we get. Okay, so we bounce off of the low here. We don't close below it. So no change of character. Again, we don't take out this high. And then right there, we get this massive move here from the euro closing below. And this confirms our change of character. Okay, so again, we never took out this high back here. So this down here at this low was always our external low. This was always the one that was going to confirm a potential move lower to be in line with that larger trend, which we identified earlier as being bearish. Okay, so now that we have this, right, what I can do here, I'm going to play this forward because I would wait to see if this is going to be the low or we get potentially a lower low, and we kind of do right there on this bullish candle. So what I can do from here is I am going to draw out my fibs. Now I have a modified fib that I talked about in that OTE video. And again, you can see a link to that. I'll put it in the description of this video if you missed it. But basically these are my settings here. You can pause the video. These are my settings. And what this is first of all, we have premium and discount. So let's talk about that quickly here. This is your 50% line. Again, we have this high up here, which was the start of this displacement, which gave us the change of character. So we measure from this high up here down here to this new external low. Okay, so from this high up here down here to the low, you can see we do have this optimal trade entry right in this zone. Now what this is this is a 62% to 79% of this recent move. And you will be amazed when you start using this, how often the market does come back into this area, retrace into this area when you get a confirmed breakup structure or change of character. So this is my very first step, because what this means is that everything below this 50% line, I cannot short, because this down here is discount. And because we have a bearish change of character, we need to see the market come up here into this premium area to look for shorts. Okay. So everything down here in red, I cannot look to short, anything below the 50%. Now, this is going to be super helpful for those of you that struggle with trying to time your entries and staying patient when you get moves like this, because what a lot of traders do, especially new traders, they see lows like this, they see the market take these out, and then they're trying to short against this. And yes, sometimes you do get the market respecting this exactly. However, most times, in fact, about 7 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, you do get the market actually pulling back to rebalance things like this. So this is an imbalance in the market. Oftentimes you do get the market coming back to rebalance this, which means that we move above these lows back here. So anybody shorting through here, more often than not, you are going to get stopped out. So having a simple rule like this, very mechanical, 50%, I cannot short anything down here. Okay, now another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to stay here on the 1 hour and move in and look at this FVG, this fair value gap, right here off this low. Now, I'll also link to the FVG video I made. I'll put that in the description of this video because it is so crucial. I share 4 rules for trading FVGs in that video, and this does satisfy those. Okay, so if we change this here to FVG just to keep it nice and clear, and I'm actually going to change this to a 1 hour FVG just so we keep it even more straightforward with what we're looking at here. And this FVG too is right there within that darker green OTE as well. So that also is in line with, the overall structure that we're looking for. Now, what I'll also do is I never stop at one FVG. I also like to look at lower time frames to see if we have something here on the lower time frames too, because I also know that there's no guarantee, just because this is a 1 hour FVG, there's no guarantee that we come up there and tag that level. And furthermore, I'm not looking for specific levels. I'm not just blindly entering up here, which I'll explain here in a moment. But what I look for here is I go to the 15-minute time frame, see that there's an FVG back here as well off of this low. So this is also giving me an area of interest. Okay, so we're helping to kind of refine and define this area of interest that we're looking for shorts up here. So this one here is going to be, I'm going to call this a 15-minute FVG because that's what it is. So right now we have our 1 hour FVG up here. We have our 15-minute FVG here. So you can also see where, again, this is in line with our OTE. And you will be amazed, as I said before, how often when you get a confirmed change of character or a break of structure, how often the market will snap back to this OTE area following those confirmed moves. Okay, now what I can also do in this case, because again, at this point, we don't know if the market's going to give us an entry. All we're doing is just outlining what we're looking for here. And again, this is really going to help you stay patient. If you find yourself chasing moves like this out of FOMO, this right here is going to help you immensely. Now, what I would also do in this case is looking at the hourly time frame. I would come out here and I would already have these levels drawn just because they would be areas of interest potentially, in this case for targets. So looking at this low down here, what would my targets be in this case? So this low down here stands out, which you can see we tested right here on this low, but keep in mind that we have the market trending lower. Okay, so there's a pretty good chance that if this holds up, that this right here is just relief. Okay, this is a corrective move here from the euro within a larger downtrend. So that's also important to keep in mind. So with that in mind, yes, we have this down here as a potential first target. However, if you'll notice back here, what we have is equal lows. Okay, so these lows down here, this is interesting because if I move in here, what you'll notice is that the euro did not take out that first low. So in this case, what we had here and what we still have is liquidity building below this low down here, and we didn't take it out. In fact, this was about a pip, maybe half a pip above that. And so we didn't take out the liquidity that was sitting here below this low. And so that's important to understand because markets seek liquidity. So you know that if there's liquidity back here, more liquidity building down here below this low, this is a level that within this overall downtrend probably gets taken out. Okay, so this becomes my final target or second target in this case. Okay, now I'm not going to label them like that yet because we don't even have an entry yet. So let's go ahead and move back here to the 15-minute time frame and see what we get. Okay, so we have everything outlined here. We know what we're looking for on the 15-minute time frame. So let's play this forward and see what we get here from the euro. Okay, so we're moving up here, and right there we come into our OTE. Now that right there is enough for me to start hunting for a short. It doesn't matter that we didn't come up here and test this level, okay, because I know that I need more confirmation within this price action, okay? And I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. So this right here, though, the fact that we came right here into this OTE, this is enough for me to start actively hunting for a short. So moving here to the 5-minute time frame, let's go to the 5-minute, and you'll note that we have an uptrend here on the 5-minute time frame. So we have higher highs and higher lows here on the 5-minute, right? And so what I need to see at this point, even though we've come up here and tagged this level, I don't know if this is going to hold. For all I know, the market could just continue making higher highs and higher lows, right? And then just reverse this entire move. We've seen it before. And so in order to have a very high conviction trade setup, what I need here is I need more confluence within this region. Specifically, what I need here, and it's the same exact thing we did on the 1 hour to identify a change of character, is I need to see the euro take out this low down here. Now, one interesting part here too, just to really kind of highlight this, is I mentioned before how external highs and lows typically, or ideally, should sweep internal highs and lows, okay? They should take those out. Now, notice here, we have this low here. This is internal. We took that out, right? This is my external low. This over here, you had internal lows. We took this out down here. This is also an external low. Now, you can also see we have higher highs, right? So this right here was technically a break of structure on the hourly, on this 5-minute close right here. So this right here confirms that this low right here is my external low. So just like we did on the 1 hour time frame, what I need to see now is I need to see the euro take this out. Okay, I need to see the euro take this out. And then from there, I know I have a high conviction trade because now we're in line with the 1 hour time frame. We have seen liquidity taken. We've seen the market rebalance this area back here following this large imbalance here on the 15-minute time frame. So we've seen the market rebalance this area. We know we're with the overall trend. We have a 1 hour bearish change of character. I need to see now a 5-minute change of character to tell me that this area up here is likely to hold as the high. Okay, so moving lower, you can see that this market has now tested this low down here. However, we did not close below it, so technically this is not a change of character. So moving this forward, let's see what we get. All right, so more consolidation here. This is all internal. This is what I really don't care about. There's nothing for me to do here. Now, right at this moment, okay, you can see we get a 5-minute close below here. So this confirms that this right here is a change of character. And notice what we had here too. We had actually a lower high develop going into that change of character. So this is technically a change of character plus, which isn't all that common. But because we had the lower high going into it, this is actually a stronger change of character here on the 5-minute time frame. Now, this is where it gets a little bit subjective. This is the most subjective part of this entry model, because if you'll notice, everything that we've done up to this point has been very, very mechanical. It's all been very, black and white. There's no guessing here. There's no emotion involved. It's just a matter of looking for the change of character, which we had back here. You're drawing out your fibs. You have your OTE marked. You have FVGs marked. You have targets, potential targets marked. All of this is just very, very mechanical. Okay, there's really nothing subjective about that. Now, looking at the 5-minute time frame, this is the most subjective part, because what you have to decide is, once you have this 5-minute change of character, is do you look for shorts down here on this confirmation, or do you look for a move up here to maybe potentially rebalance something that occurred up here? Now, I'm going to show you a little trick here though, and this is what I do. At this point, what I look for is on the 15-minute time frame. If I go back here, you'll notice how we really don't have much of an imbalance. In fact, we have no FVGs back here on the 15-minute. So this right here is kind of telling me that there's nothing for the market to come back and tag, because there wasn't an FVG through here, no FVG through here, no FVG, and even if there was, we had that wick. So there's nothing really here for me to try to short against. And the reason that I would want to look for something like this, like if this candle, for example, had closed below here and just done this and then closed down here, I would be looking up here at these FVGs. I would be looking to short this on that 5-minute confirmation that we had. And the reason for that is because I want to have, the tightest stop possible. Obviously, I want to have a favorable risk-reward ratio. But in this case, though, you can see that we really don't have anything for the market to come back and rebalance. So if you're eyeing this area up here, if you're waiting for a move up here to get a tighter stop, then this would be a case that potentially you could miss the trade. Okay, so again, that's kind of the most subjective part of this entire entry model. So from here, what I'm looking at is from this 5-minute time frame, right? We have that confirmed change of character. So from here, that's enough, because we don't have a buy side imbalance for me to target up here as an entry, so I can have a tighter stop. So this is enough for me right here to start considering an entry. Now, remember, we have to move a little bit quick because the market is active right now. So in this case, hypothetically speaking, I would be looking at this right here, that confirmed change of character. Now, as far as a stop loss, okay, what I'm looking at here, yes, I could technically have my stop loss up here above this high, but as I said before, this right here is what's called a change of character plus, because we had this lower high form before the change of character down here. And because of that, what I know is that if this is going to confirm and we're going to get the euro moving lower, this high up here needs to hold. Okay, and if it doesn't, then that's an indication that the market's moving higher. So my stop loss is always going to go at an invalidation level. Okay, your stop loss isn't just there to take you out of the trade. That's part of its job, but really you need to have your stop loss at a point that would invalidate the trade, invalidate the idea. So for me, that's this level up here. Now, the next thing I need to check is based on, okay, if I go here to the 15-minute time frame, based on those levels I marked out before as potential targets. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark this out. So this down here would be target 1, okay, potentially down here. And then we have target 2 being these lows. Okay, so T1 and T2. Now, what I need to determine is from my entry up here that I just defined to my stop loss being that lower high, is this at least a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio? Okay, and you can see right here that it is a 2.86. And for me, look, I'm not going to sit here and stress over, 0.14 R here. That is enough for me. If this was a, 2.3, 2.4, or even 2.5, I would be a little bit more hesitant. But because we're right there in that 3R area, in the 3R zone, then that is good enough for me. Okay, so if I move back in here, let's play this forward and see what we get, knowing that we have that 5-minute change of character now to confirm that this right here is, starting to rotate lower and exhaust itself. Now, one thing too, before I do this, I do want to point out, you're probably looking at this and thinking, well, we had this premium area outlined up here, right? And now we're kind of entering down here in discount. So what gives, right? Why is that the case? And for me, what this comes down to is the fact that this up here served one purpose. This served to rebalance this move, okay? It served to rebalance this move. And then this right here, this 5-minute change of character serves to confirm that this move right here, okay, this internal uptrend is starting to rotate lower and be in line with what we're seeing on the higher time frames, okay, that 1 hour time frame and even the 4-hour time frame, etc. So 2 things are happening, right? This confirms that we've rebalanced this candle. We've also targeted a lot of that liquidity that built up back here, okay, those orders that didn't fill because this move was so aggressive. And this right here is confirming that bears have once again taken over following this bounce. So this right here is the high conviction play for me. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to follow this exact same model. You can look at things differently. You can play around with this and come up with your own rules. But for me, this is the most high conviction play here. And again, from here, I'm still getting a 3R trade. Okay, so my reward is 3 times my risk. So that also fits within my rules because my minimum is 3R. Okay, so for me, guys, this is valid. And if we play this forward now, let's see what we get here from the euro. Now you can see right there, that was our first target hit very quickly. Within about an hour, we got that first target. So from here, because I have 2 targets, I would just simply, keeping it simple, take half off, okay, 50% there at that first target. And then moving down here, you can see the market starts to kind of go sideways here for a bit, but, still in the trade, nothing to worry about here. We're not taking out any significant highs. This is all just internal price action with the market chopping around. And then you can see over here, we do get the market, taking out that low, okay? So that right there, it looks like you would have had to wait a long time, but again, that first target was hit within an hour. And then this over here is just 24 hours later. Remember, this is a 15-minute time frame. So basically from the entry up here, right, stop loss above that lower high, down here toward this target, that was about 1 hour. Over here toward the final target, that right there was about 24 hours. So, I mean, not bad for a 3R trade, right? If you're waiting 24 hours as a swing trader, that's not bad at all. So, and obviously when I say swing trader, I'm referring to a swing trader on the hourly time frame, not necessarily the conventional definition of a swing trader, which is waiting, days or even weeks. So if you'll notice, everything we're doing here is very simple. There's nothing complex about this. All we're doing is stacking very simple factors in our favor here, starting with that 1 hour change of character. So that was the first factor. We then had our OTE up here, optimal trade entry, based on this high down here to the low. So this gave us this area. That was the second factor. We had FVGs. That was our third and potentially fourth factors. We then had an internal change of character right here. So on the 5-minute time frame, that was another factor there in our favor. We then had a favorable risk reward ratio at 3R, meaning our reward was 3 times our risk. So multiple factors in your favor are going to give you confluence. The more factors you have in your favor, the better the trade, the more likely it is that the trade is going to run to your profit. So again, all of this is very, very simple, but we're just stacking these in our favor to give us a true edge in the market. So hopefully this video has helped. If it has, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to put the video up right here on SMC market structure. So if you missed that video, this explains breakup structure and change of character in simple terms. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, trade well.